How
Let's
multiverses.
sort of shift gears here. Speaking of like WB owned competitive things, one that I'm not worried about, I'm not too stressed about is Mortal Kombat 1. Khalif, are you like a longtime Mortal Kombat guy? It looks like you have a, is that a throw rug?
I do. I have an MK logo throw rug behind me. For folks who are watching the video version of stuff. Yeah, I'm a huge MK fan, and one seeing the MK1 was now going to be a thing after waiting for Netherrealm to talk about their latest kind of iteration of the universe and the game had me super excited before I got a chance to get hands on with it. But then when I got hands on with it, it was just the thing that I want the most at this point. I'm biding my time by playing Street Fighter 6 right now and waiting for MK1 to drop, because what they're doing from a visual perspective is really fresh and new, just feels like really bright and vibrant in a way that is kind of changing the way you think about Mortal Kombat from an aesthetic perspective. You know, they've leveled up what they do from a just like character animation perspective as well. Looks really, really fantastic. And then the cameo system that they've implemented, which I think is changing the way we think about Mortal Kombat from a fundamental gameplay perspective, is just going to be really brilliant. Like I was talking about this in my post SGF content, was saying like this Mortal Kombat is going to be the swaggiest of all of the Mortal Kombats. It is going to be the one where people, when you watch this at a big fighting game competition like Evo, that's coming up pretty soon, is going to just have the crowd wild at every turn. I think, you know, having these new assist characters come in that you knew and love from being within the games, and then them being everything from a combo extender to an air juggle component to something that'll break up throws. It just changes up so many different ways that you are thinking about the way you can play Mortal Kombat, and it's just going to be really cool to see not only how some of the best players learn how to use these kind of assists and kind of, you know, implement them within their gameplay, but then who are those assist characters going to wind up being? I know they talked about, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme being a skin for Johnny Cage, but who are going to be, you know, the new combatants that are going to come in, and who are the old folks that are going to come back as new characters or combo characters? I am just infinitely excited for that, and after getting a chance to play it, it just made my hype levels just grow even more. So I'm ready and I'm waiting for that bad boy to come out.
Yeah, this game, I mean, Mortal Kombat is such a known quantity, but at the same time, this one really managed to pique my interest. And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it's a reboot helps, but it does feel like it got a kind of a refresh visually. And I can't really put my
Uh-huh.
finger on what exactly about it is that. I think it is a lot. It's a lot brighter. Like it feels like
Uh-huh.
it's a lot
Mm.
more
A little
kind of
more
unabashedly
cartoony,
colorful.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. But it's cartoony, but with it's got, I feel like, more realism in different areas, if that makes sense. Like the
Yeah.
costumes look more like real costumes. Like Sonya Blade's outfit looks like a photorealistic version of her outfit from the first game, which isn't
Mhm.
particularly something that someone would actually wear, but it works. It looks right. And I mean, same with Kate. And none of the physical fatalities or the things that actually. I mean, the I feel like the bone structure and general logic of how human bodies work in those games, that's not even up for discussion. That is not realistic by a long shot. But I don't know. I love that when the assists come in, when the cameos come in, I love that they just run, and it's not like a super
Yeah.
cool run. It like looks like a stagehand or like a roadie coming out to swap guitars. Like it's just this, and it has the same kind of dorky run that like the old Mortal Kombat games had when somebody would run, where it's like they're just this little jog, and it's something really charming about that for me, which I'm into. The thing that stuck out
Yeah.
for me, the one little detail in that whole demo, which is exactly how weird my brain is, in the character select screen, uh, Kano just like casually blows a snot
Uh-huh.
rocket, and
Yes,
I'm like,
he
That's
does.
Kano. That's my guy.
Uh-huh.
That's Kano being himself. He sucks. He's a jerk. He's terrible. He's a horrible,
Yeah.
disgusting man, and I love it. I'm totally there for it.
They're
Um,
pulling in all of that, all of those layers, though, and I love that you kind of brought that up, because it does feel like in this reboot, from a canon perspective, that they are looking at all of the things that made those characters iconic, while then adding that little extra layer of special sauce to kind of flip the canon and in ways that we haven't seen yet. So I'm excited to see what they're going to land on the campaign stuff, because they've done that extremely well over the past couple of games. And now we get a chance to see like how they flipped those things on its head, and Kano is still a jerk. So those things are consistent across the universe.
I love it. Kat, do you have any strong feelings about Mortal Kombat?
The thing that I find interesting about Mortal Kombat is that it's kind of the fighting game for the people. So often it comes out, It sells really, really well. There's a lot of hype around it. People play through the actually really excellent single player campaign. I think that's where it really stands out, is that frequently it has just a better single player campaign than virtually any fighting game that is out there. But then Mortal Kombat frequently struggles to have staying power at the major fighting game events. So this is going to be, so when it comes out, and it's at the next Evo, it's going to be an interesting test. So obviously it won't be out this summer, but maybe next year. It'll be an interesting test to see whether it has a lot more staying power, because it has a really dedicated community. People absolutely love Mortal Kombat. But what always stands out to me is it's a little bit like the Call of Duty of fighting games in a way, in that there is a huge contingent of people who just buy it, play through the campaign, maybe play with their friends and go, wow, that was a lot of fun,
Ooh.
and then move on with their lives. On the flip side, as
bold
Khalifa
words,
was saying, there's a whole podcast dedicated to Mortal Kombat lore. So this rabbit hole goes deep, so to speak.
No, that's a really interesting point, because, like, yeah, so many fighting games do kind of live and die by the hardcore, like, you know, fighting game scene. And I don't know, that's, yeah, this, I feel like Mortal Kombat manages to kind of capture other corners of that, whether it's the sort of the casual player or the people who are there for, like, the kind of, you know, the lore, the story.
Yeah.
Ben, is Mortal
fighting
Kombat
games are known for not being accessible, and maybe Mortal Kombat does that better than a lot of fighting games. So I think it's kind of respected.
They've always been good about, like, to the point that they're fun to watch. Like, they've been very good about reward, like letting you get a little treat, even if you suck. Like, even if you're really bad at the game, you can, like, I don't know. I always love that the X-ray moves are, like, pretty easy to pull off, and, like, I feel like that you can do some really neat stuff with the cameos that aren't going to be, you know, it's going to be fun to look at without, you know. And some people are looking at like frame data, and, like, that's the thrill for them, is like very granular, like, you know, extremely hardcore information that average mortals can't comprehend. But, like, I don't know, it works on two levels, and I think that's cool. Ben, Mortal Kombat thoughts?
Yeah, no, look, I'm not necessarily like a fighting game guy in the way that you speak of it in regards to competition and everything like that. So I am all in on the Mortal Kombat franchise, as if from Mortal Kombat 11. Now we get rid of one of those ones and we'll go back to Mortal Kombat 1. And this is really feels more like it doesn't stay as close to those fighting game traditions where it is built around that competition, rather than it feels like a AAA single player game so much of the time, and that's where it's elevated through the story, through its cinematics. And I can't wait to play the single player campaign of this game and getting all those fatalities and getting those cutscenes. I remember, you know, the classic like PS1 days of like Tekken, fighting all my way to the end just to get that cutscene. That's what I wanted. That's all I wanted. I just wanted the cutscene. I wasn't good enough in the fighting game. I just need to get through. And this just gives you all the cutscene, tells a really compelling story. And so for not a fighting game fan like me, I cannot wait to play and see what it's all about, and just feel that just gruesome blood just kind of dripping down the screen. I want it all. Thank you very much.
I'm into it. Let's talk Diablo 4. We haven't really touched on that on the regular show as far as I know, but a couple of you were playing that. Kat, you were just telling us about that before we started recording. What's up with Diablo 4? How are we feeling on that now that the dust has settled post launch on some of that?